Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wednesday WIP Knockout. It's me, Lynn, with Feather Song Crochet. Welcome, friends. Today, during our second 20-minute segment, we are going to have a giveaway. And so we only had 3 people entered. So one of these 3 people has a very good chance of winning, of course. So everybody, welcome. Let me know you're here if you're able. It is a very cloudy and chilly day here in central Illinois. So we'll try to stay cozy together. That's what we'll do. So let me know who's here. Say hi. And we'll get started in just a minute. Want to make sure the microphone and everything is working. Oh, there's Tammy. Hey, Tammy. How are you? Oh, yes, thank you. I had a bad week last week. Excuse me. I had stomach issues for several days, but the first day I had a fever of 101.6. I haven't had a fever that high in a long time, and I just felt just miserable. And so by Wednesday I was kind of a little bit better, but I didn't want to chance it. And actually next Wednesday, since it's the day before Thanksgiving, next Wednesday already, I can't believe that. We won't have one next Wednesday. I'll be on the road. I'll be traveling. So let's hear what you guys have in store for Thanksgiving before we get started. Get my timer ready here, so it's almost a couple more minutes here, and we'll set the timer. So what is going on? We got Fran and Tammy. Like I said, things are kind of boring here. I had a bad week last week, and then let's see, just dealing with illness and just feeling cruddy, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. It just was not a good week last week. Oh, Tammy. Oh, good. Doing great. Celebrated yesterday my 5-year anniversary of my open heart surgery. Woo! Quite an accomplishment to get through that. Good for you, Tammy. That's good to hear. That's a major thing to go through. So good. 5 years. Good. I like to hear that. I've known quite a few people that have gone through that surgery, and it's not an easy thing to recover from. So glad you're doing good. One more minute here. We'll set our timer. I'll show you what I'm working on, and we can get started. So what is, yeah, I can imagine it is no fun. What are you guys working on today? All's quiet on the Western Front, on the Midwestern Front. I got my Diet Coke, so hopefully I will. There we go. 20 minutes started. Hopefully I'll be able to stay awake today. It's been so dreary here, and so it's like you just want to stay in bed and read or take naps. Doing the edging in my filet table runner, patterned by Rain. And Fran is working on a shawl. All right. Good deal. Well, I am working on, I told you guys I was making pumpkins for my family, little pumpkin decorations. And this is my last one. So I'm making one in yellow. It's a little bit darker yellow in person. It looks kind of light on the screen. But, so this is what I'm working on today. And I made them all in different colors. They're all about the same size. Just kind of smallish. like, I don't know, smallish. And so what I do is I have everybody take a number, and then they get to whoever has number one and so forth gets to pick their favorite one. And so I've done that this is my third year. I think I've made something, I've given it away. So it's kind of fun. You know, Fran, I have never made a shawl. I mean, I think I would wear one. Although to me, they seem kind of fancy. I don't have a lot of fancy places that I go to, but I don't know. I should try it one day just to say I made one. I don't know if you guys watch Shannon Talks Yarn. She makes shawls. She has some pretty ones, and they look very intricate. But she says they're not hard, but they're real pretty and lacy and kind of intricate looking, I think. No sun there today either, Fran, huh? Yeah. Dreary Illinois and Ohio. Oh, well. Beggars can't be choosers. We got to take what weather God gives us, so, and be thankful. I'm trying to think. I counted up my WIPs the other day. I've got 5. I think I have 5 WIPs going on. But I definitely wanted to get this one done because I knew I could talk and just work in the round, because I've got like 8 rounds of this to do. And it's 56 stitches around. So I thought, hopefully I get this done, because then after that, it's just a few more rows and I could stuff it and finish it off, and I'll have my bag of pumpkins ready. You make a lot of shawls. Okay, you're the shawl lady. Nice. Now, what kind of yarn do you use? You use fingering weight, or do you use thicker like the worsted? Or I'm just curious, because I think Shannon mostly uses like maybe a 2-weight yarn. Yes, it's better than snow. I agree. Oh. And in our reading today, we're going to do chapters 18 and 19. 18 is pretty short. 19 is a tad bit longer. But I'd like to get through both of them since we missed last week and we're not going to be meeting next week for the holiday. Sorry, just heard some strange noise. So, fingering NDK. Okay. Wish you guys could send me pictures. I mean, you can, if you want to go to my email, you could send me pictures of your projects. I'd love to. I like looking at other people's stuff and seeing what they've made, and it's kind of neat. Also, I'm collecting stories for what's his name? Chris with Naughty Bear. I think I mentioned this last time. Did an episode where people send him pictures of like their fails or something embarrassing or something funny that they made or weird that they made. So I would love to collect photos like that from you guys to do that next year. So if you have something like it didn't turn out the way you thought or was just kind of odd, or an embarrassing one, or I don't know, but just something different, unique. If you have any pictures you want to send me, I am going to start collecting those. And also, coming up, December 7th, mark your calendars, Sunday, December 7th, there is, I'm going to do a live with Holly from Stitch is Gonna Stitch. It's going to be Sunday, December 7th at 2 o'clock Central, which would be 3 o'clock Eastern. She's in the Eastern time zone. I'm in the Central. And we're just going to have fun, talk Christmas, talk holiday, get to know each other and you guys. So I hope you can make that. She's more the expert in the streaming kind of thing as far as setting it up and being the tech person. So I'm going to let her set that up, and I'm assuming she'll be putting it on her channel. I'll be posting it on this channel too. So keep on the lookout for that. It should be a lot of fun. Yours is on Ravelry. Oh, you're okay. Your pictures are on Ravelry. Okay. That makes sense. I don't know why I always forget about Ravelry. Ravelry. It's a little hard to say. And some on Instagram. Yeah. Most of my pictures of things I've done is on is on Instagram. At Feather Song Crochet. So yeah, the next segment we're going to be drawing for the hooks. I was 5 minutes before we started here. I was looking around thinking, where did I put those hooks? I had them boxed up and everything, in their little box. And I know they're here somewhere. So whoever is going to win, don't worry. I'm going to send them to you. I'm going to find them. They're probably out in the living room by my chair that I usually crochet in. They're probably out there. So we're going to build the suspense and wait till the next segment, see if anybody else joins us. Yes, that's you, Fran, right? Yeah, just me and crochet. Yeah. I need to make a shawl for a wedding coming up in February. Ooh. You mean a wedding you're attending or you're going to be in? Miss Tammy. Have you guys seen Tiffany post her Austin crochet retreat, getaway, whatever? It looks really cool. It might be a little out of my price range, though. I'm considering it, but if you share a room with somebody, I think it's 4 nights. It's at a really, really neat hotel, has pool, and get all your food and everything. Excuse me, it's $1,300 if you share a room. So I don't know. I would probably drive down there. I might drive down there instead of taking. I don't like flying, and with all the stuff that's been going on this year, I just do not like to fly. So I would probably drive down. I need to make a shawl for wedding. Okay, yes. So Tammy, tell us about that. Are you in it? Are you making it for somebody in the wedding party? Are you going to wear it yourself as a guest? I'm curious. We all want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. But anyway, yeah, I probably will not go to Tiffany's retreat, though I would love to. But my finances are just not in order yet for a trip. But it's not till June, so I don't know. Oh, for you. Yay. All right. Oh, now, Tammy, do you post your things on Ravelry and or Instagram also? I would love to see it when you get done with it. Not Fran A. Okay. You have a lot of different aliases, Fran. Sometimes I don't know how to find you. Yeah, there is a way we can see each other's stuff, not on YouTube, unfortunately, but we figure out ways, don't we? Okay. Well, shoot. So, Tammy, you don't post on Instagram or anywhere, TikTok or nothing, my dear? And you live in Texas, right, Tammy? Have you? No, that wasn't you. That was Sarah. Sarah went to one of the, I want to say Comic Cons, not Comic Cons, one of the fiber festivals and met Tiffany. I think that was over the summer. But it looks like a lot of fun. I don't know how many people she's accepting. I forgot to read that far into it, but I did read the price. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's food and everything. It considers everything. I mean, everything is included in your price, but I don't know. I would love to take a vacation, tell you that. I have some bad storms coming in tonight. Ooh, we had some. Yeah, a couple nights in a row. It thunderstormed here, and it was rather nasty. So it's just kind of wet and gloomy, and I mean it's not raining right now, but it is going to. Let's see here. Let's see, we got it's 8 minutes left in this first segment of Wednesday WIP Knockout, and I'm going to try not to ask too many questions. That's why I like doing the reading in the third 20-minute segment, because you guys can just sit and relax and crochet while I read to you. Anybody else have some good news to share? Here, I said I wasn't going to talk, or make you type, but I want to hear some good news today. There's so much bad in the world. I like hearing good news. I guess my piece of good news would be, This must be something. Okay, Lynn, I just put myself on the spot here. Good news is, the good news, well, okay. We got to count our blessings. I've been sleeping really well the past week or so. And I hope you can't hear my daughter coughing. She's home from work. She's got a bad cough. So hopefully you're not hearing it through the wall. But yeah, I've been sleeping really good at night. So I'm thankful for that, because there was a time where I wasn't. And I know a lot of people struggle with insomnia and such. Weird thing is I sleep good, but I'm still sometimes tired during the day. I'm blaming it on the weather and the time change. I'm almost over the time change. It used to take me less than a week to get used to it, but now it's more like 2 or 3. Especially when it's dreary. Okay. You got 7 minutes to tell me some good news. 6 minutes. One piece of good news. Let's focus on gratitude today. I think the pumpkins turned out really cute. I can't remember the name of the lady whose pattern it is, but it's in the round, because I've seen a lot of them that are like in a rectangle and then you attach them together. This one is in the round, and then at the end you go and you take your yarn and make like little sections with it. It looks really cute. And then you put a stem on it. Now this one has, you can also put leaves on it, but I don't do the leaves. I just do the stem. But it's a cute little, I wish there was a pattern for a larger one. I mean, I guess I could probably figure out how to make them a little bit bigger. But it's a nice little pattern. It works up, fairly quick, I guess. Okay, about 5 more minutes left, folks. And we'll take a break. While you're thinking of your good news, what do you guys like to drink when you're sitting crocheting? Do you have a favorite beverage or refreshment that you have? I usually have a soda with me. This is my Diet Coke today. But I like Diet Mountain Dew. I like Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm diabetic, so I got to watch my sugar intake. I'm not always the best at that. But Let's see. But I tell you, soda really quenches me. I also like Crystal Light. I drink a lot of Crystal Light. When I was sick last week, I drank a lot of Gatorade, sugar-free Gatorade. And I like almost every flavor of Gatorade. Good news is I have been working on 2 projects for a year, and I only have 1 more month for both of them and be happy to finish. You talk about your temperature blankets, Fran? I bet one of them is. That is good news. It's funny. I like the feeling of finishing projects, but I also like the feeling of starting ones. So it's kind of funny. Especially a new one that something I haven't tried before. You only drink water when you're sitting. Oh, good for you. Now, I guess in my mind, Gatorade is, well, it's not really water, but I've heard it has, the electrolytes and stuff in it that's good for you, especially if you're sick. You don't want to get dehydrated. But yeah, water is the best. I drink a lot of Crystal Light, but I really don't. I have never done like any research on it to know chemical wise what all is in there. But plain water to me is not appealing. I mean, sometimes I will drink just plain water, but I'd much rather have something flavored. Tammy. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know Fran. She's going to finish it. She's going to get those finished. Bus time. Oh, I'll catch y'all later. If not, happy Thanksgiving. Okay, Tammy, thanks for stopping in. Bye. You want to miss your bus? So we got here a couple more minutes. And we'll take our little break. We will have the drawing here in a few minutes. Let's see, who is here for, let's see. We have Fran is in on the drawing. And Sarah from Fire Lake Creations. I don't see her on here yet, unless she's listening and hasn't tuned in. And Bean was the other person that registered or applied for the giveaway. So yeah, so you guys got a good chance. And I've got names in the hat right here. So, yep. And I got to find the hooks. I know it. Maybe I'll do that on the break. I'll go out in the living room and look for the hooks so I can show everybody again. But yeah, that was for I actually got on my 1-year YouTube anniversary, they sent me a little, shout out saying, happy anniversary, you're 1 year on YouTube. So, and that was when was it? About a week and a half ago. So yeah, so I'm a week and a half late for the giveaway, but you guys understand. Okay, a minute left. Oh, 20 seconds left. All right. Trying to get some more people to join us. People watch afterwards, but I don't know. I'm not one to watch a live after it's done. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll watch it and kind of scroll through it. But there we go. Stop. Okay, 5 minutes. And we'll start again at 2:30 and have our drawing. I'm going to finish this row and then I'm going to check in the living room for the hooks. I've been keeping them here on the couch for weeks. I got to go find them. So you guys take a break. Oh, thank you, Fran. Get up, potty break, drink break, stretch break. Of course, after our next 20-minute segment, we'll have our official stretch break. I'm trying to think who else I've been watching lately. Let's see. I don't know if you guys watched Jenna from Crochet with Jenna. She just recently moved across the country, and she had a like a travel blog and a crochet blog about her and her husband traveling from they moved from California to North Carolina. Okay, Fran. And yeah, they moved from California to North Carolina. She showed her trip along the way. That was kind of fun. So they're at their new place in North Carolina, and her new office space is a lot bigger and such. So, what else do I watch? Shannon. I love watching Shannon. Shannon Talks Yarn. Oh, I know who. Lucy Kate. Lucy Kate crochets in in England. She's really fun. She's got it's funny because she has a psychology degree, I just learned. And she was talking about overconsumption in the crafting world. And I have to agree with her about that. But I mean, I'm guilty of it sometimes, of course. As Americans, we overconsume a great deal. But just how that could get out of hand and how to try to curb it and, you know, what it means, all that. So it was pretty interesting. All right, I'm going to count my rows. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Yep, I got about 12 rows. Okay. Before we go. Okay, folks, while we're on our break, I'm going to go look for those hooks. I will be right back. Found them. Found them. Ooh. Okay, I found something else I want to show you guys too. Okay, your eyes were dry and had to put some eye drops in. Ooh, yeah, that I understand. That happens to me. Okay, one more minute. Get this ready. It's quiet today. It's a very quiet day. I don't think my sister hasn't been on in a while. I think she has appointments on Wednesdays a lot. So, okay, next 20 minutes. All right. Thank you for bearing with me. We have, I'll show the actual furls one first. This is what we're giving away in just a couple minutes. This is the rose gold. Let me see this. Furls metal hook. It's an inline hook. And this is an H 5.0 millimeter hook. It's beautiful. It's just a little bit too heavy for me. It's a little too heavy. So I'm going to give that to a friend, one of you guys. And along with that, a smaller hook that is not a furls. but it's a Tulip Etimo Red, and I got a set. I was telling you guys I got a set for Christmas. And this is a tiny one. This is a 1.8 millimeter, but that I will never use. But I love these Tulip Etimos. They're very smooth, and they got a nice handle. But I've tried making earrings and such, and it didn't turn out well, and my hands kind of were hurting a little bit afterwards. So this is the second one you guys get, whoever I draw. Okay. Oh, I wish, let's see. Who else is here? We got Fran. Tammy's gone. I wish Sarah, you know what? Fran, do you mind if we wait a few minutes to see if Sarah and Bean, to see if they jump on? Because it would be nice to have them jump on. Let me show you something else while we're waiting to see if anybody else will join us. I joined a group of friends a few weeks ago, and we are making, that's better, yeah. We're making, well, let me back up. There's about 10 of us, 10 or 12 of us in this group. And our leader had the good idea of pairing up and doing something to help our community, or to raise awareness of kindness in the community. So the lady I was paired with, it was all random. The lady I was paired with is a seamstress. Thank you, Fran. She's a seamstress, and you know, of course, I crochet, and I was like, excuse me, what can we do? And our idea was, what about we make little bags, because she could sew like canvas bags together, like with a drawstring or Velcro or something. And then I can make little soap sacks that I've made before. I've made lots of these before, but it's just a double crochet little soap sack, and you put your bar of soap in there, you pull the thing, and then you also use this as your wash rag. And then when your soap gets too small, you take it out, put a new bar in. So we thought that would be great for homeless folks, people at the shelters, whatever, that they could hand out to whomever needs one. So I'm going to make these. And then the lady I'm working with, Annette is her name. Isn't that cute? This is our little bag. I don't know what we're calling them yet, but we're also going to try to get some things donated, like toothpaste and toothbrushes. I've called my dentist, and he's a very kind person. I've known him for years, so I'm thinking they're gonna call me back, but they're gonna donate some toothpaste, I think, and or toothbrushes to put in here. And we were thinking maybe like disposable razors. Oh yeah, Tiffany does the soap sacks too. Yeah, disposable razors. We were thinking maybe we could have, like, maybe this could be the men's packs. But she's got a lot of canvas that she had donated to her. She had this. She has some plain blue, some plain pink, which is really pretty. And we thought, oh, we could make like a kid's one and put like a little toy in there. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 homeless shelters in my town, and there's a couple other people that run, like this one lady in particular. She runs a rehab home for men that are, just got out of addiction rehab. So I've made things for her too. So yeah, I was really excited. So we're also going to try to get like little shampoos, little what else were we thinking? Lotions. I'm trying to think what else they told us. What else that mission place told us they needed. But anything that comes in minis. Good. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. So she's making bags and I'm making soap sacks. And then we're going to try to get other people in our group to see if they can, donate other stuff, or know businesses that will donate. Because I think, like, if you go to Target or any place like that, they want you to have like a tax ID number or nonprofit stuff. And we don't have that. I mean, we're just a small group it's kind of a grassroots kind of thing. So, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Something else I've been doing. Okay, here we go. Drawing for the 2 crochet hooks, the Furls 5.0 metal, and the Tulip Etimo Red is a 1.8. Okay, 3 names. I'm going to draw and not look. Take drum roll. All right, here we go. Okay. It is Bean. I'm sorry, Fran. Bean. Bean won. Yay for Bean. Let's congratulate Bean. She won the 2 hooks. That's the way it goes. Next time, Fran. But yeah, and Sarah. But Bean, if you are listening, you need to email me at feathersongglass@gmail.com and let me know your legal name, I guess, and address. And I will mail you those 2 hooks and maybe a little something else surprise. We'll see. So yay for Bean. She's usually here. I'm surprised she hasn't come in yet. But yeah, if anybody knows Bean, congratulate her. And so yeah, that was exciting. That was fun. Next year, the anniversary, we'll do it again. Okay, 13 minutes. Miss Bean. Yes, that's Feather Song Glass. They won't let me change it to Feather Song Crochet. So feathersongglass@gmail.com because I need your address to mail those to you. Okay, Bean, I think you're in Georgia. But anyway, just let me know. I'll give you a couple days to let me know. Okay, well, that excitement's over with. Okay. Get back to my pumpkin. So, Fran, do you make many items for other people? Like, do you take custom orders and things from people? Or do you just kind of make things for you or things that you want to do as you go? I've got a friend of mine is asking me to make a little stuffed bear for her new little niece. She actually has a nephew. I think they're brother and sister. The boy is 3. And she was looking on my Instagram and saw this bear that I had that I did not sell at my last market. This is Benjamin Bear. Say hi, Benjamin. Hello. Isn't he cute? This is a design by Lindsay's Off the Beaten Hook. No, but you make things for shed-in friends and ones in the nursing home. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. So this is Benjamin Bear, and he's for the nephew. Now, the nephew's 3, so he's got the safety eyes. So I told her, I said, for the baby, I'm going to give the baby sleepy, make a bear with sleepy eyes and maybe like a pink shirt. So yeah, so that's something I got to work on. A Christmas present I got to work on, one of my WIPs. And thank you. Yeah, she has got, I really love Lindsay's designs. She's kind of got her own style and they're just adorable. I think I've shown you her stuff before. But yeah, you can always go on my Instagram at Feathers on Crochet and see any of my stuff. If you know anybody that wants toys, for those of you that don't make toys, I can make a toy for somebody. So refer them to me and I will make them and send them out. I have a great shipping place I use called pirateships.com, just to give them a plug. I don't get any money from any sponsors or anything, but their customer service is top notch. They're really good. And you just, you use their site to put in the label, you weigh it, you measure it, and then you either take it, they'll tell you what's the cheapest rate, the post office or UPS, and you take it, drop it off. It's easy peasy. So that's my plug for Pirate Ships. Oh, Bean, you won. You won the hooks. Yay! Yes, Kermit does. You won the hooks. I just drew. So you're going to have to send me your address to my email, okay? You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, feathersongglass@gmail.com. So yeah, just anytime today or whatever, send me your address and I'm going to mail those out to you. We're just talking about mailings, how I mail stuff. You're welcome. I'm so glad you joined in. And then we got to tell you live. Oh, thank you, Fran. Yep, just my little small business. I try to keep going. I don't know how many of you watched my my episode I had last week on my fall craft fair, but I hope I didn't rant too much, but I kind of ranted just a little. Yay, Bean! I'm so happy. About this venue that they had like 7 or 8 other crocheters there. I don't know. I shouldn't dwell on it. I really should not dwell on it because it's done and over with now, and I did make a little bit of money. But that did kind of tick me off a bit. But yeah, that was my last episode. I had that, and I talked about my craft fair, and about the giveaway. So okay. Yeah, I hope I wasn't being mean or anything because I don't like to be unkind when I'm, you know, I want to be honest, but I don't want to be unkind. So I was disappointed and frustrated more than anything. So I hope I didn't come off as being mean. So Bean, what are you working on today? And we'll see. Maybe Sid will join us too. We'll see if Sid joins. So usually she comes in on the second segment. See if Sid joins us. Okay. Oh, good, friend. Thank you. I appreciate your guys' opinions. Working on my Fair Isle sweater again. Okay, I remember you talking about that. Sweater. So you're talking like just a pullover sweater, not a cardigan, a regular sweater. I decided the next cardigan that I'm going to try to make, I'm going to use a different designer's pattern, and I'm going to see if I can find one that's like just 2 panels in the front, 1 panel in the back, and then the 2 sleeves. Because the sleeves I made on this last cardigan came out kind of dolman, and they ended up too short. I mean, for my first thing, it was fine, but I would like to make a sweater that fits me better. So I did see one from MJ that's called the snowflake sweater or something that looks really pretty. But I had a little bit of trouble with her pattern last time, so I don't know. If anybody has a good beginner cardigan pattern, I like ones that are just not too long, that come like to your, right below your belly button or so, and or to your groin area maybe, and that have maybe maybe a V-neck with a couple buttons. Not anything elaborate by any means. But I think though, when I make this next one, I'm going to use all one color yarn and not try to be switching colors. That might have messed me up a little bit. But that one that MJ has with the snowflake sweater, it's white with different color speckles on it. It's really pretty. So you make it a pullover, though I have got a Tunisian crochet cardigan work in progress. Oh, good for you. I admire you people learning new stuff. Tunisian crochet. I haven't tried it, much less try to make a wearable with it. Which do you like better, Bean, or you like them both the same? You like Tunisian or regular crochet better? Or is it a toss-up? 4 minutes before our stretches. But I want to be sure that you heard my address, my email address, feathersongglass, all one word, at gmail.com. Like them about the same. I tend to prefer knitting over both of those. Oh, knitting is less hard on your wrists. So interesting. So with knitting, there's movement, but there's not as much pulling, maybe. Am I thinking right? The only time I have real trouble with my wrists is if I go too long. If I sit and crochet for a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, without a break. I rarely do that because I know better. Then it gets to me a little bit, but and I don't know. I'd be interested in taking a poll to see who gets more hand pain, a knife grip people like me or a pencil holder folks. I think the pencil holder folks would have more maybe finger issues, but I don't get a lot of wrist pain. Actually, I get more in my thumb. I have arthritic, both of them. My left one is worse. Different movements. Mm, yeah, yeah. Yeah, what I've seen, and I could be totally wrong, of knitting is that it's more of of doing the movement as opposed to pulling. Whereas sometimes in crochet, you got to put in amigurumi, you got to pull these stitches tight and so forth. Oh, whoops. Okay. So in our book that we're going to be getting to in a couple minutes here, we left the Dashwoods visiting with Edward. And I just think they picked the perfect person to play Edward. In the movie, it's Hugh Grant. And he does such a good job being a shy Edward. I love it. When we're finished with the book, I am going to watch the movie again because it's been several years since I've seen it. But I am a huge Alan Rickman fan, so I was very glad when Marianne got together with Colonel Brandon. Oh gosh. Oh dear. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody. Oh my gosh, that was really, I wasn't thinking. I count my rows again. Dummy. I'm such a dummy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14. Okay. Got left here 33 seconds. Okay, I'm going to put this up. Oh. Okay. Oh. Let's see. We're going to do that one. Just thinking what stretches we're going to do today. Last week we did the fingers, yeah. Okay. I got an idea. Here we go. Okay. I recently got connected through Loose Ends Project. Well, now, Bean, I don't know what that is. Is that a charitable organization? You'll have to let me know. Okay, let's start our stretches. We're going to try to do some neck and shoulders today because that seems to be a place I always get, a little if things are bothering me. So let's start with a shoulder stretch. You're going to take your fingers, clasp them, and turn them inside out and just reach up in the sky. Actually, I'm just going to hold my wrist. That's a little bit easier for my arms. Oh, look at that. Look at my right arm. Oh my gosh. There we go. I knew my triceps were weak in this arm, but there we go. And you could feel that right up here. You could feel that. Feels good. One more time. Stretch. Reach up and reach a little bit back. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. And down. Okay, we're going to do a little protraction, retraction of the scapula, which is getting your scapula and your shoulders. You're going to try to touch your elbows behind you. And you could even, I'm going to rest my hands here on my armrest. But that is a good stretch. You could feel it along your pec, along your collarbone here. Touch your elbows together behind you. I mean, you can't really, but try. There you go. And then go forward. Stretch forward, reach, a little 3D action. Woo, woo. And back. Touch them together. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Fran. Oh, yeah, I don't like spoiling movies for people. I don't mean to. And then again, reach forward. Oh, that does feel good on my shoulders. Okay, let's do a couple next stretches. So lean your ear. I say, try to touch your ear to your shoulder. Don't bring your shoulder up to your ear. Just relax your head over so your ear touches your shoulder. Hold it. Feel that stretch in here. Nice. Other side. Relax your shoulders as much as you can. So you're just feeling it in the neck. Good. One more time this way. There we go. And one more time this way. Nice. And you could even do a little extra if you want to do a little bit extra chug, but I wouldn't, pull too hard, of course. There you go. And relax. Oh, I felt a couple of pops there. All right. And then we're going to do just rotation of the neck, which is just turning. Try not to move any part of your body other than your head. And you're just looking to the left. Stretch it. Hold. You can feel that in your neck and in the back of your neck. And then this way, right up into your skull almost. A good stretch. Good. One more time. Okay, we got time. Good. This way. And straight ahead, and then this way. Beautiful. That's neck rotation. I forget what this one's called. Extension, flexion, and extension. Actually, no, this is flexion and extension. Let's do that. Neck flexion, look down, chin to chest, and then back. This one is more important. There you go. Boy, I feel that down my neck and across my shoulders in the back a little bit. And then down. And then back. Hold it. Relax your shoulders. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Just end with a few shoulder rolls. Back together. Do back together. And front together. And front and together. There we go. Good job, folks. Okay, time for reading. Bean did say it's an organization. Okay. Loose Ends Project, organization that connects crafters with people who have bereaved projects. Oh, yes. Either you mentioned this before or somebody did. Yeah, that is a great thing. Because, hey, Luna, I know. Because I had this one lady who I made some stuff for. Good, Fran. But she had no clue how long crochet took and all this. And I had to finish some of her mom's projects. And I didn't have to. I offered to for, money. But because she sought me out, came to me. And so I said, sure, I'll do that. Well, as it turned out, I made a few things. I had to go back and fix a couple things because one was a little bit off. And I'm like, you know what? Let me take that back and fix it. and then something else. It just took a lot longer, and it was a lot more trouble than what it was worth in that instance. But yes, if people are coming and saying, "Please, can you fix this?" You definitely need, because she had one that was like way out of my league. I knew I wouldn't be able to do, but I did. I think I did two or three things for her, like a blanket and a curtain and something else. So yeah. So I don't want to discourage anybody from volunteering and doing stuff like that. Okay, let's start our 20 minutes and get into our book, chapter 18 of Sense and Sensibility. Everybody ready? You got your stuff? You're relaxed? Okay. You got your project going, and here we go. Eleanor saw with great uneasiness the low spirits of her friend. His visit afforded her but a very partial satisfaction, while his own enjoyment in it appeared so imperfect. It was evident that he was unhappy. She wished it were equally evident that he still distinguished her by the same affection which once she had felt no doubt of inspiring. But hitherto the continuance of his preference seemed very uncertain, and the reservedness of his manner towards her contradicted one moment what a more animated look had intimated the preceding one. He joined her and Marianne in the breakfast room the next morning before the others were down, and Marianne, who was always eager to promote their happiness as far as she could, soon left them to themselves. But before she was halfway upstairs, she heard the parlor door open, and turning around, was astonished to see Edward himself come out. "I am going to the village to see my horses," he said. "As you are not ready for breakfast, I shall be back again presently." Edward returned to them with fresh admiration of the surrounding country. In his walk to the village, he had seen many parts of the valley to advantage, and the village itself, in a much higher situation than the cottage, afforded a general view of the whole, which had exceedingly pleased him, and this was a subject which assured Marianne's attention, as she was beginning to describe her own admiration of the scenes, and to question him more minutely on the objects that had particularly struck him, when Edward interrupted her by saying, "You must not inquire too far, Marianne. Remember, I have no knowledge in the picturesque, and I shall offend you by my ignorance and want of taste if we come to particulars. I shall call hills steep, which ought to be bold, surfaces strange and uncouth, which ought to be irregular and rugged, and distant objects out of sight, which ought only to be indistinct through the soft medium of a hazy atmosphere. You must be satisfied with such admiration as I can honestly give. I call it a very fine country. The hills are steep, and woods seem full of fine timber, and the valley looks comfortable and snug, and with rich meadows and several neat farmhouses scattered here and there. It exactly answers my idea of a fine country, because it unites beauty with utility. And I dare say it is a picturesque one too, because you admire it. I could easily believe it to be full of rocks and promontories, gray moss, and brushwood, but these are all lost on me. I know nothing of the picturesque." "I am afraid it is but too true," said Marianne, "but why should you boast of it?" "I suspect," said Eleanor, "that to avoid one kind of affectation, Edward here falls into another, because he believes many people the pretend to more admiration of the beauties of nature than they really feel, and is disgusted with such pretensions. He affects greater indifference and less discrimination in viewing them himself than he possesses. He is fastidious and will have an affectation of his own." "It is very true," said Marianne, "that admiration of landscape scenery has become a mere jargon. Everybody pretends to feel and tries to describe with taste and elegance of him who first defined what picturesque beauty was. I detest jargon of any kind, and sometimes I have kept my feelings to myself because I could find no language to describe them in what was worn and hackneyed out of all sense and meaning. I am convinced," said Edward, "that you really feel all the delight in a fine prospect which you profess to feel, but in return your sister must allow me to feel no more than I profess. I like a fine prospect, but not on picturesque principles. I do not like crooked, twisted, blasted trees. I admire them much more if they are tall, straight, and flourishing. I do not like ruined, tattered cottages. I'm not fond of nettles or thistles or heath blossoms. I have more pleasure in snug farmhouse than a watchtower, and a troop of tidy, happy villagers please me better than the finest banditti in the world." I don't know what that is. Marianne looked with amazement at Edward, with compassion at her sister. Eleanor only laughed. The subject was continued no farther, and Marianne remained thoughtfully silent, till a new subject suddenly engaged her attention. She was sitting by Edward, and in taking his tea from Mrs. Dashwood, his hand pressed so directly before her as to make a ring with a plait of hair in the center, very conspicuous on one of his fingers. "I never saw you wear a ring before, Edward," she cried. "Is that Fanny's hair? I remember her promising to give you some, but I should have thought her hair had been darker." Marianne spoke inconsiderately what she really felt, but when she saw how much she had pained Edward, her own vexation at her want of thought could not be surpassed by his. He colored very deeply, and giving a momentary glance at Eleanor, replied, "Yes, it is my sister's hair. The setting always casts a very different shade on it, you know." Eleanor had met his eye and looked conscious otherwise that the hair was her own. She instantaneously felt as well satisfied as Marianne. The only difference in their conclusion was that what Marianne considered as a free gift from her sister, Eleanor was conscious that it must be procured by some theft or contrivance unknown to herself. She was not in a humor, however, to regard it as an affront, and affecting to take no notice of what passed, by instantly talking of something else, she internally resolved henceforward to catch every opportunity of eyeing the hair and satisfying herself beyond all doubt that it was exactly the shade of her own. Edward's embarrassment lasted some time, and had ended in an absence of mind still more settled. He was particularly grave the whole morning, and Marianne severely censured herself for what she had said, but her own forgiveness might have been more speedy had she known how little offense it had given her sister. Before the middle of the day, they were visited by Sir John and Mrs. Jennings, who, having heard of the arrival of a gentleman at the cottage, came to take a survey of the guest. With the assistance of his mother-in-law, Sir John was not long in discovering that the name of Ferrars began with an F, and this prepared a future mine of raillery against the devoted Eleanor, which nothing but the newness of their acquaintance with Edward could have prevented from being immediately sprung. But as it was, she only learned from some very significant looks how far their penetration, founded on Margaret's instructions, extended. Sir John never came to the Dashwoods without either inviting them to dine at the park the next day or to drink tea with them that evening. On the present occasion, for the better entertainment of their visitor, towards whose amusement he felt bound to contribute, he wished to engage them for both. Whoops. Okay. "You must drink tea with us tonight," said he, "for we shall be quite alone, and tomorrow you must absolutely dine." Mrs. Jennings enforced a necessity, "And who knows but you may raise a dance," she said, "and that will tempt you, Miss Marianne." "A dance," said Marianne. "Oh, impossible. Who is to dance?" "Who? Why, yourselves and the Careys and the Whitakers, to be sure. You thought nobody could dance because a certain person that shall be nameless is gone." I wish with all my soul," cried Sir John, "that Willoughby were among us again." This and Marianne's blushing gave new suspicions to Edward. "And who is Willoughby?" said he in a low voice to Miss Dashwood, by whom he was sitting. She gave him a brief reply, and Marianne's countenance was more communicative. Edward saw enough to comprehend not only the meaning of others, but such of Marianne's expression as he puzzled him before, and when their visitors left them, he went immediately round to her and said in a whisper, "I've been guessing. Shall I tell you my guess?" "What do you mean?" "Shall I tell you?" "Certainly." "Well, then, I guess that Mr. Willoughby hunts." Marianne was surprised and confused, yet she could not help smiling at the quiet archness of his manner, and after a moment's silence said, "Oh, Edward, how can you? But the time will come, I hope. I am sure you will like him." "I do not doubt it," replied he, rather astonished at her earnestness and warmth, for he had not imagined it to be a joke for the good of her acquaintance in general, founded only on something or nothing between Mr. Willoughby and herself he would not have ventured to mention. Chapter 19. Edward remained a week at the cottage. He was earnestly pressed by Mrs. Dashwood to stay longer, but as if he were bent only on self-mortification, he seemed resolved to be gone when his enjoyment among his friends was at the height. His spirits during the last 2 or 3 days, though still very unequal, were greatly improved. He grew more and more partial to the house and environment, never spoke of going away without a sigh, declared his time to be wholly disengaged, even doubted to what place he should go when he left them, but still go he must. Never had any week pass so quickly. He could hardly believe it to be gone. He said so repeatedly, and other things he said too, which marked the turn of his feelings and gave a lie to his actions. He had no pleasure at Norland. He detested being in town, but either to Norland or London he must go. He valued their kindness beyond anything, and his greatest happiness was in being with them. Yet he must leave them at the end of the week, in spite of their wishes and his own, and without time. Eleanor placed all that was astonishing in this way of acting to his mother's account, and it was happy for her that he had a mother whose character was so imperfectly known to her as to be the general excuse for everything strange on the part of her son. Disappointed, however, and vexed as she was, and sometimes displeased with his uncertain behavior to herself, she was very well disposed, on the whole, to regard his actions with all candid allowances and generous qualifications, which had been rather more painfully extorted from her for Willoughby's service by her mother. His want of spirits, of openness, and of consistency were most usually attributed to his want of independence and his better knowledge of Mrs. Farrar's disposition and designs. The shortness of his visit, the steadiness of his purpose in leaving them, originated in the same fettered inclination, the same inevitable necessity of temporizing with his mother. The old, well-established grievance of duty against will, parent against child, was the cause of all. She would have been glad to know when these difficulties were to cease, this opposition was to yield, when Mrs. Ferrars would be reformed and her son be at liberty to be happy. But from such vain wishes she was forced to turn for comfort to the renewal of her confidence in Edward's affection, to the remembrance of every mark of regard in look or word which fell from him at Barton, and above all, to that flattering proof of it which he constantly wore round his finger. "I think, Edward," said Mrs. Dashwood, as they were at breakfast the next morning, "you would be a happier man if you had any profession to engage your time and give an interest to your plans and actions. Some inconvenience to your friends, indeed, might result from it, but you would not be able to give them so much of your time. But," with a smile, "you would be materially benefited in one particular at least. You would know where to go when you left them." "I do assure you," he replied, "that I have a long thought on this point. As you think now, it has been and is and probably will always be a heavy misfortune to me that I've had no necessary business to engage me, no profession to give me employment or afford me anything like independence. But unfortunately, my own nicety and the nicety of my friends have made me what I am, an idle, helpless being. We never could agree in our choice of a profession. I always preferred the church, as I still do, but that was not smart enough for my family. They recommended the army. That was a great deal too smart for me. The law was allowed to be genteel enough. Many young men who had chambers in the temple made a very good appearance in the first circles and drove about town in very knowing gigs, but I had no inclination for the law, even in this less abstruse study of it, which my family approved. As for the Navy, it had fashion on its side, but I was too old when the subject was started to enter, and at length, as there was no necessity for my having any profession at all, I might as well be dashing and expensive without a red coat on my back as with one. Idleness was pronounced on the whole to be the most advantageous and honorable, and a young man of 18 is not in general so earnestly bent on being busy as to resist the solicitations of his friends to do nothing. I was therefore entered at Oxford and have been properly idle ever since. "The consequence of which, I suppose, will be," said Mrs. Dashwood, "since leisure has not promoted your own happiness, that your sons will be brought up as many pursuits, employments, professions, and trades as Columella's." Okay, wait, there's a note on what that is. I don't see a footnote, sorry. Oh, pardon me. "They will be brought up," said he, in a serious accent, "to be as unlike myself as is possible, in feeling, in action, in condition, and everything. Oh, come, come, this is all an effusion of immediate want of spirits, Edward. You are in a melancholy humor, and fancy that anyone unlike yourself must be happy. But remember that pain of parting from friends will be felt by everybody at times. Whatever be their education or state, know your own happiness. You want nothing but patience, or give it a more fascinating name, call it hope. Your mother will secure to you, in time, that independence you are so anxious for. It is her duty, and it must ere long become her happiness to prevent your whole youth from being wasted in discontent. How much may not a few months do? I think, said Edward, that I may defy many months to produce any good to me. This desponding turn of mind, though it could not be communicated to Mrs. Dashwood, gave additional pain to them and all the parting which shortly took place, and left an uncomfortable impression on Eleanor's feelings especially, which required some trouble and time to subdue. But as it was determined to subdue it and to prevent herself from appearing to suffer more than what all her family suffered on his going away, she did not adopt the method so judiciously employed by Marianne on a similar occasion, to augment and fix her sorrow by seeking silence, solitude, and idleness. Their means were as different as their objects, and equally suited to the advancement of each. Eleanor sat down at her drawing table as soon as he was out of the house, busily employed herself the whole day, neither sought nor avoided the mention of his name, appeared to interest herself almost as much as ever in the general concerns of the family, and if by this conduct she did not lessen her own grief, it was at least prevented from unnecessary increase, and her mother and sisters were spared much solicitude on her account. Such behavior as this, so exactly the reverse of her own, appeared no more meritorious to Marianne than her own had seemed faulty to her. The business of self-command she settled very easily. With strong affections it was impossible. With calm ones it could have no merit. That her sister's affections were calm, she dared not deny, though she blushed to acknowledge it, and of the strength of her own, she gave a very striking proof by still loving and respecting her sister, in spite of this mortifying conviction. Without shutting herself up from her family, or leaving the house in determined solitude to avoid them, or laying awake the whole night to indulge in meditation, Eleanor found every day afforded her leisure enough to think of Edward, and of Edward's behavior in every possible variety which the different state of her spirits at different times could produce. Tenderness, pity, approbation, censure, and doubt. There were moments in abundance when, if not by the absence of her mother and sisters, at least by the nature of their employments, conversation was forbidden among them, and every effect of solitude was produced. Her mind was inevitably at liberty, her thoughts could not be chained elsewhere, and the past and the future, on a subject so interesting, must force her attention and engross her memory, her reflection, and her fancy. From a reverie of this kind, she sat at her drawing table. She was roused one morning, soon after Edward's leaving them, by the arrival of company. She happened to be quite alone. The closing of the little gate at the entrance of the green court in front of the house drew her eyes to the window, and she saw a large party walking up to the door. Amongst them were Sir John and Lady Middleton and Mrs. Jennings. But there were two others, a gentleman and a lady, who were quite unknown to her. She was sitting near the window, and as soon as Sir John perceived her, he left the rest of the party to the ceremony of knocking at the door, and stepping across the turf, obliged her to open the casement to speak to him, though the space was so short between the door and the window as to make it hardly possible to speak at one without being heard at the other. "Well," said he, "we have brought you some strangers. How do you like them?" "Well, hush, they will hear you." "Never mind if they do. It's only the Palmers. Charlotte is very pretty, I can tell you. You may see her if you look this way." As Eleanor was certain of seeing her in a couple of minutes, without taking that liberty, she begged to be excused. "Where's Marianne? Has she run away because we have come? I see her instrument is open." She is walking, I believe." They were joined now by Mrs. Jennings, who had not patience enough to wait till the door was opened before she told her story. She came hallooing to the window. "How do you do, my dear? How does Mrs. Dashwood do? And where are your sisters? What, all alone? You will be glad of a little company to sit with you then. I have brought my other son and daughter to see you. Only think of their coming so suddenly. I thought I heard a carriage last night while we were drinking our tea, but it never entered my head that it could be them. I thought of nothing, but when it might not be Colonel Brandon come back again, I said to Sir John, I do think I hear a carriage. Perhaps it is Colonel Brandon come back again." Eleanor was obliged to turn from her in the middle of her story to receive the rest of the party. Lady Middleton introduced the two strangers. Mrs. Dashwood and Margaret came downstairs at the same time, and they all sat down to look at one another, while Mrs. Jennings continued her story as she walked through the passage into the parlor, attended by Sir John. Excuse me, folks. I was just checking my phone. I don't know if I... What did I do with my timer? My phone and my timer. I am telling you, I would lose my head if it wasn't attached, but it's 3:15 already. And there's my phone. It got inside my project bag. And oh, it's 12 seconds left. Okay, we are going to stop there. Let's see. So they brought a bunch of people to them, and we're going to stop there because there we go. Because I want to once again say congrats to Bean. Send me your dress and I'll send those hooks to you. Thank you, Fran, for being here. I really appreciate you. And let's see, Bean may have got off already. I'm not sure. But thanks everybody for being here. And next week is day before Thanksgiving. So have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see you the week after that. I think that'll be December, the first Wednesday in December. So everybody take care. Stay in touch. Keep smiling. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be with your family. Bye-bye.